I'm here today because there is a commission meeting tomorrow and we have an emergency. On the commission agenda is an item to try to put out for bid or sale our public oceanfront lot in North Beach on 71st Street. It's very ironic because it's where you vote. They literally want to sell the spot where we vote. And
It's
I am
the
very
library. It's the old library, right?
It's the old North Shore Library on 71st Street. It is being snuck on the agenda. You know, Bob, we have elections coming up in November, and they're trying to cram this through because there's only two more meetings, one meeting in September, one meeting in October, and they would like to
And
make
then we
sure this
vote,
happens.
and then we vote in November.
And we have with us today, we are very privileged to have with us today Commissioner Michael Gongora, who is going to explain this item to us. First and foremost, Commissioner Gongora, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Kristen. I did want to clarify, though, that this week the meeting is not on Wednesday. The meeting is actually on Friday, September 17th, because our meetings run late in the evening and Yom Kippur starts at nightfall tomorrow. They have moved the commission meeting this week to Friday, September 17th. So I wanted to clarify that for everybody.
Wonderful. We hope that everyone has an easy fast and I can't say wonderful Day of Atonement, but an introspective Day of Atonement during Yom Kippur. This meeting has been moved to Friday, which makes it even worse because people don't necessarily know about it. Now, Michael, who is sponsoring this item that is on the agenda?
It does not list a sponsor. It is stated that it is being brought forth by the administration, but it came through the Finance Committee, which has discussed it on multiple occasions, and I believe had a unanimous vote of the three Finance Committee members to move forward with it. As you may remember, it came before the commission at our July meeting, and at that time I was very vocal that I didn't think it was appropriate for a couple of reasons. One, it came late. It came on as a supplemental item, and I thought this was a really big deal that shouldn't be added to the agenda at a last minute like it was. And B, the administration always gives us the RFP in advance so we can review it and see what it looks like. In July, it was rushed on without the actual RFP. They just wanted us to authorize the manager to prepare the RFP without our seeing it and put it out during the August recess. So I was able to get this continued to the Friday, September 17th meeting, where it currently sits on the consent agenda as item C2C.
So item C2C is the sale of our public oceanfront library. And there has been no community notice. There has been no community involvement.
That seems to be the norm today.
What is the appraised value of this oceanfront lot, Michael? Does it even have any value? Miami Beach could never again recuperate what this lot cost, correct?
Well, there's actually 5 different parcels, 5 lots that make up that block between 75th and 76th Street where the library sits. The Finance Committee had requested 2 different appraisals. One came back for $75 million for all 5 lots. Or if you only look at the 2 Collins Avenue lots that aren't waterfront, those were $10.5 million. That was done by CBRE. A second appraisal from Cushman Wakefield found the 5 lots to be worth approximately $50 million and the 2 non-waterfront Collins lots to be worth a little bit more than $7 million.
Okay, so we have 2 appraisals. Rush, they're vastly different valuations. Some people are saying that it's worth 50% more than the other real estate.
That's amazing.
Is that normal? Would 2 appraisals come in, one at 50% more than the other appraisal, Commissioner Gongora?
There is no norm or not norm when it comes to appraising. I've seen things come in similar. I've seen them come in very different in the past. The item actually has 4 different options, which they want people to be able to make proposals to. The 4 options that the administration's included is 1, for people to vote on all 5 folios if they want to make a bid on purchasing them all. That would be subject to voter referendum because that includes waterfront lots. The second was developing only the 2 Collins Avenue lots, but incorporating the FAR from the waterfront lots and shifting it over. That would also require voter referendum. Then there's two other options that they are presenting. One is to only develop the Collins Avenue 2 fronting lots. That, they tell us, would be subject to a 4/7 planning board vote and a 6/7 city commission vote, but would not require a public vote. And then finally, they have a fourth option to develop the 2 Collins Avenue lots only, but to restrict the waterfront lots for open space purposes. And again, that requires the planning board 4/7 plus the 6/7 vote of the commission. So it's pretty broad what they have put out there.
Is there any possible way that we could defer this and have some public input before we put our oceanfront lots and our library out to bid? I'm so upset about this, Michael. The community is upset about this. I know this for a fact because I stand at Publix and I keep telling people that I was going to do whatever I can to save the oceanfront property, library. I don't care if we build it. Our community center should go there. There should be a pool there. Couldn't you see a beautiful pool and oceanfront community at that site, Michael, that everybody could use?
Because it's public land. You're never going to ever get waterfront property ever back again.
We will never.
The city will never be able to afford to buy it, number one, and they wouldn't. So why would they give up something that they already possess that they could actually make better to serve the people in the community? I'm just saying.
Yeah, these are excellent questions. I am willing to pull it from consent. If people watching this show have opinions on this item and you want to reach out to me before the commission meeting, you can reach me through Facebook. You can email me, michael@michaelgongora.com, michael@michaelgongora.com. Provided that there is interest, I will pull it. I suspect the votes are there on the commission to put this out.
Who cares?
But yeah.
Who cares? I mean, the bottom line is it doesn't belong to the commission. It belongs to the citizens of Miami Beach. It doesn't belong to the commission. And the commission, and then the commission really, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack it, but I'm just saying, like, but if the commission really wanted to be above board, they would have noticed people. They would have had a public hearing about it. They could have also have prefaced this, though, well, let's sell the frontage on Collins Avenue for the money that we need to do a new community center for the back on the waterfront. I mean, but they're not doing that. So the thing is that they're, from what I'm reading and what I saw, they're not putting what the people of the city want.
Well, they don't even know what the people of the city want because they never asked anybody what we want. With this, have you ever seen our government this bad? Have you ever seen anything like this happen ever in your political career on Miami Beach, Michael?
Well, I've seen a lot of bad things over the course of many years. So yes, I have seen bad things happen. In this particular item, I don't sit on the finance committee. They did review and discuss this at numerous public meetings. It's never come before the commission for a public discussion except at July when it was added at the last minute. And that's why I said, we can't do this. You got to carry this over to a regular meeting and put it on like a regular item. So it is on the agenda. It is on consent, and I do think this warrants a discussion. So I am going to pull it from consent for that discussion. But I also want you to keep in mind two things. One, this is to issue an RFP. It's not to sell it, but it is to get bids. So it does start a process by which the properties could ultimately be sold. And number two, the voters approved through their vote when they voted on the GO bond on voting for that aquatic community center on 72nd, that's kind of a couple blocks away. So we have a difficulty by saying we're going to put a community center here because when they voted for the GO bond, it was clear that there was a community center and aquatic center that was going to be built on that other parcel as part of that project. So I'm not sure legally how you can just move the location from one to the other.
I feel like where there's a will, there's a way. They are trying to build, I knew it when they said that they wanted to build a library across the street in a spot where all the city's plumbing is this big garage, which, by the way, they eliminated all the parking requirements for these developers that are going to build these towers and then bid out $50 million in GO bond money. Now they're saying that the cost of this aquatic center is like $200 million. What is the cost?
No, it's not 200. I think it's close to 100. But I think we had budgeted approximately, using rough and easy math, I think we budgeted around 60. And the bid that came in that they seem to want to build is closer to 100.
So they don't have the money to build that center. And I do believe that you can go back to referendum and have the vote changed if you really needed to. Those are the stakes that we're facing in this upcoming election.
Right.
And that is why we have the shenanigans that we do. And and that is why we have the dirty politics that we do, because if you're going to get a $75 million piece of land for 30 million or 50 million or whatever the appraisal is, they say, there's no problem spending $1 million to completely destroy a lot of the candidates. And I don't know if we can get the word out to enough residents, Michael. Do you think there would be a will of the commission to at least defer this item to the following month until they at least have one community meeting concerning the 4 proposed options?
I don't know. I remember when I moved to defer it last time, a number of my colleagues were very upset about the deferral. They talked about it being a delay. They talked about it being a pause. I don't know if there's going to be the votes of the majority of the commission to defer this again.
So if we do, okay, let's say the worst case scenario, this horrible proposition, one of the 4, you guys choose one of these 4, and I don't know which one has been. Obviously, there's 4 doors, and one is the chosen door.
It won't be me, because remember, I will likely not be on the commission. If this passes, this allows an RFP to be issued to the private sector to come back and bid on one of these 4 options. That process is going to take at least 60 days in government. So that means that whoever gets elected in November will likely be selecting what, if anything, to do with the bids that come back.
And not only that, you'll also see with the RFP who the person was who put up the money to force everything through.
Yeah.
Because that's the person who wants the project or wants to make money on the project. But
I know who it is. I would ask them not to do it. I think our government's moving in such a sad direction.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no more faith in the public.
Well, they don't even notice people and let people know what's going on with them. But that's another story entirely. That's
We had a whole item at land use this morning. I know my colleagues, Commissioner Samuel and Commissioner Minor, have both put on a number of items about more public notice and better notice to the public on land use matters, which I support. So we are moving in that direction, because I do agree that government should be transparent and should have the input of the residents.
Well, because people are getting really mad, Mike. I mean, a lot of they're just getting mad. They feel like, for those of us, you've lived here a long time. I've lived in the city of Miami for 22 years, 24 years now. And, I used to come across to Miami Beach when it was really quite quaint, actually. It was a little grungier than it is, but it was nicer. I mean, it was more hipster, and it was fun, and people were fun, and all the rest of that. And that's not what you got anymore. It's all like been homogenized. And it's really kind of sickening in a way, in a way, but I don't like anytime they take public land and want to sell it.
It just says here, we need to run a campaign about this. I'm going to send out an email tomorrow morning. I wasn't planning on fighting this. I'm in the middle of a political campaign, but this is just terrible. Those lots, by the way, the Collins Avenue lots, you realize that those lots are zoned government use. So you would have to rezone them for commercial use. Did you know that? There's no government community.
I didn't know it for a fact, but I suspected it, because all the city property is GU. So if you change the use, it has to be rezoned into something else.
So you guys, before you could even put out an RFP to save the library, for those of you, because I just shared this on a couple of community pages, SOS on Friday's agenda, there is a hostile bid with no community involvement to sell our oceanfront library. They have divided it into 5 parcels. They are doing some dirty shenanigans with 4 options, and we need the community to get involved. And I have here Commissioner Gongora, who says that he is willing to fight to have this item deferred until after this election cycle, so then the people can really have a say in how these oceanfront lots.
I mean, if we don't put a Supreme Court justice into office before somebody leaves it, why are we doing? I'm sorry, I couldn't walk away from that one. But I'm just saying, why would you do a major zoning change in a land use project prior to a huge a lot of people are changing the guard, right? Aren't a couple of commission seats being changed?
We
this
have
time
Yes.
How many? You got 3.
We have 3
Almost
seats.
a majority.
There are 3 seats
Like
up for election.
Like a majority of that commission's going to change. Is that not correct?
Well, no, but it will shift.
It will shift.
Unfortunately, Michael's leaving, and there are 5 candidates running for his seat, and I'm running in another seat, and then Mark Samuelian
Tell people who
another
you're running
opponent.
for. Why don't you tell them?
Oh, I'm running for the Miami Beach Commission in Group 1, and I'm very well. You know
Be
what?
shameless about it. You got to tell people you're running for office.
Well, I'm worried now, Bob, because just the group.
Well, you have to. If you don't, you got to be your own best self promoter.
Well,
and you're beautiful on top of it. So keep up the good work. Go
You're
get
softening me up a little because I'm just like so angry right now.
Don't be angry.
So what else are they trying to push through? Okay, so I'm going to be sending out an email about the library. I'm going to include your information in the email to the city that will go out on Friday morning about the library. Maybe it should go out Thursday morning. And Michael, what else are they trying to push through this before the elections?
Yeah, we got 3 minutes.
It's a big agenda. One of the things that's of interest to me that I wanted to touch on, besides the library, taking you from North Beach way down to South, we've had a problem in the South of Fifth neighborhood with this proliferation of apartment hotels that are really bothering quality of life. So we have a couple of ordinances there. One, I have a general ordinance to restrict short-term rentals a little more than they currently are, to put in some occupancy restrictions of no more than 2 people per bedroom, to prohibit them from having outdoor amplified sounds, restrictions on parking, and things that will really help preserve quality of life. Mine is actually citywide. Then there's another ordinance that is being co-sponsored by like 4 of us, me, Samuelin, and 2 others, which is to prohibit any apartment hotels from being built in the South of Fifth neighborhood. And then finally, I've put on a discussion item because part of what brought that to light was the administration approved 3 of these apartment hotel buildings south of Fifth, which are really causing a problem for the residents there. They're really unhappy. They've really come together. They've created this whole group to fight them. And all of these short-term rental discussion and ordinance items have been specially set to happen starting at 10:20 in the morning. So whenever we get through them till about 10:45 or so.
Who owns these 3 buildings?
I don't know, but I've heard that one of them is Louis Puig, who used to own Space Nightclub.
And is the administration allowed to approve these apartment hotels without going to the commission for permission? I saw that.
I don't believe so. It doesn't sound right to me. They've responded in a city memo from legal and planning justifying that it was okay, but it certainly seems completely wrong. And we're trying to find out what exactly happened and to change that. If it is proper and legal, we want to undo that so it doesn't happen again.
Can you reverse this, or is it already done?
We're trying to reverse it. Our legal department has said that they created a vested right with these 3 parcels, but we're trying to look for creative solutions. I don't buy it. So I've put it on as a discussion and take action item Friday morning, 10:25. I believe my item is set. So I'm very upset about this. The neighborhood is very upset about it, and I want to find out what we can do to change it.
Can I ask a question? Can you please get us a time certain for the not the Byron Carlo, the Oceanfront Library site? Can you please request a time certain from Mayor Dan Gelber?
I can, but as you know, it's presently on consent, so I have to wait until the actual meeting starts to remove it from consent. So I suspect they're not going to give me a time certain because of the procedural manner in which they've placed it on the agenda.
Can you believe this, Bob? This is not transparent.
Hey, listen, I live in. I gotta tell you
terrible,
something.
And I would ask our city manager to remove if Alina Hudak is responsible for putting this on the consent. You said that this item was sponsored by the administration. I would ask our city manager Alina Hudak to please remove the item from consent and to put it on the regular agenda so that we can request a time certain, and the people of North Beach who are getting their libraries stolen from them, the place where we vote, our polling place. Okay, our community's polling place. Mrs. Hudak, would you please put it on the normal agenda so that we all have a chance to go and speak up and possibly get this deferred and find out what's happening? Okay.
I'm doing my agenda review tomorrow, I believe at 5 p.m. So I'll ask more questions then, and I'll let you know what I hear back.
Hopefully,
if you're going to send out an email about it, Kristen, you might want to avoid Yom Kippur. You might want to send it early Friday morning.
Okay. Yes, you're right. I will send it. That's even worse because Friday morning is too late.
Right.
And we don't have a time certain.
So you can send it out tomorrow before sundown then.
Great. Okay.
You got your work cut out for you.
Listen, we only had a half an hour. I just wanted to add, Michael Gongora, you just recently filed, you are no longer running in the commission group 3 seat for the Miami Beach Commission. You are now a mayoral candidate, correct?
Correct. And I actually just received today my first contribution since switching seats. So thank you to those members of the public who are getting behind my campagn so early.
That's wonderful. So Michael
when
Gongora, 2023.
And when does that come up?
Well, a lot of us wanted him to run for mayor in 2021, but he is going to run in 2023. You're going to take some time off, huh?
I'm going to take a short time off. I mean, I'll have to start campaigning next year. But yes, I'm going to work through the end of November when my term ends and work to help get good people elected. And then I do intend to take some time off.
Well, it was a pleasure to see you again this time. Thank you very much for all your information. Kristen, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for joining. This
Absolutely.
was impromptu. This is Bob Powers. He is a community advocate and political activist in the city of Miami, and I always love to watch your interviews. Thank you for joining. And Michael, thank you. We have some work to do if we're going to get this library item deferred.
Go
Please,
get him,
City
Tiger.
Manager Hudak, please remove the item from the consent agenda. The people of Miami Beach would like to weigh in on their library. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you.